Report for today, December 15th, 2008. On today's Robinson Report, we're going to talk about the 2008 election and how everything came together to elect my compatriot from the south side of Chicago, Barack H. Obama, as our 44th President of the United States. How brimming of pride I'd be to have that, not only because of his African American heritage, but also with the fact that he's from the south side and my part of the Chicagoland area, which has meant so much to my political evolution. On his way up, he was able to raise a $700 million fundraising machine that was able to outpace, outperform, and out everything all his Democratic rivals such as Hillary and Kucinich and John Edwards and eventually the Republican Party. He revolutionized campaign finance by getting small donations, especially when the heat was hot, when he first got started. He got small donations from people on the internet with their PayPal or Visa credit card who sent them money. And that was a very important strategy because it propelled him towards the nomination, whereas Hillary got the $2,300 from all the big donors, which again was the thinking that was going on into it. You get the big donors, get all the people in the invisible primary, then roll it on out. But it seems that to be a Republican strategy in a Democratic primary. Plus, I believe that Senator Clinton failed in winning because she did not make significant inroads in the African American community, and by the time she would have, and I know she would have, I think the racist stuff against Bill Clinton is wrong-headed, but she would have eventually came back. But she did lose it, and his daring and his strategical outlook will be better applied as President of the United States than as a Democratic candidate. As so far as the general election, I must commend John McCain for running one of the more highbrow campaigns that we've seen. I know it's dirty, it's ugly, and it's tough with the slashing and burning that had been going on during this '08 thing with the Muslim thing and all that. But I do think it's important to see the tone that Senator McCain set, and that it could have been a lot more dirtier, believe me. So President-elect Obama will do very well, especially given the cabinet that he's put together with Senator Clinton, former Senator now Clinton, at Foggy Bottom there as Secretary of State. Her and her husband will be a perfect tag team to help the Obama administration reach out to all those nations that once respected us but still hold us content. And they will send a strong message to the world for human rights, because that's what Democrats have been for since the days of Eleanor Roosevelt. Human rights. And we should do all that we can to enable them to put forth that agenda that repudiates secret prisons, renditions, and Guantanamo Bay as a staging place for captured terrorists or enemy combatants or whatever the president deems necessary to go to jail. Anywho, his pick of Attorney General Eric Holder, or Attorney General designate Eric Holder, is also a signal that he's going to repudiate this whole detentions thing that George Bush has done. I know lots of liberals have been upset about the right-wingishness of the new Obama administration, but let me tell you, these guys are here to help fix and clean up all the messes that were left for 8 years prior. First 4 years is fixing George Bush's muck-ups. The second 4 years will be change you can believe in.
On December 9, 2008, FBI agents arrested sitting Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich and John Harris, his chief of staff. The governor is charged with conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud and soliciting bribes. Governor Blagojevich was caught on FBI wiretap speaking of selling for payment the Senate seat vacated by President-elect Obama, of which the governor appoints according to the Illinois Constitution. In wiretaps released to the public, the governor repeatedly makes profanity-laden statements about getting something financial for appointing the Senate seat to somebody. However, beyond the wiretaps, there hasn't been made known if any money, favors, or appointments, or influence even, had been traded.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and you're watching The Robinson Report.
Could you do it again?
No.
Please.
Okay. I forgot. See, I already forgot what you wanted.
What's your name?
Nicole.
And what are we watching?
The Robinson Report.
You say peace.
Peace.
Hey, my name is Jim, and you are watching The Robinson Report.
What up, Robinson Report? The economy is an issue that everyone has to deal with. And in this economy, the banking and investment banking sectors have been well, let's shall we say the recipients and welfare queens of the modern era. Seems as though now that the Congress is looking at bailing out the three big automakers with a multi-billion-dollar bailout package. It has been the talk of the day the last few weeks, and really have bedeviled the transition from the Bush to the Obama administrations. And I'm sure it's an ideological difference with the Bush free market monetarist principles of let them fight it on their own with against more liberal Keynesian policies. But I'm looking at it more as let's get the job done and let's eat tomorrow and not worry about next week. Thus, I believe that the federal government should take over maybe one of the auto companies, use the vast former military-based infrastructure to help cultivate all of the jobs that have been lost, that have left because of industrialization going to the third world, and use all of these former military bases to employ people with this government-owned and operated auto manufacturer. If we allow the same people to do the same ideas from the same old broken system, we're going to be like the NFL. You notice why the Detroit Lions are never good. For the last 30 years, and I'm a Bears fan, I've watched the Lions, and we had like maybe, I can count maybe 3 years on good years on my hand for the last 30, and that's because they've had a failure in management in Detroit. But not just for the Lions, but for the cars we drive, and we need a modernization.
Hi, my name's Alan, and I'm watching the Robinson Report.
This book, 20 Years a Slave and 40 Years a Freeman by Austin Stewart, has been a book that I highly recommended to many different people, and I also recommend to you, the viewers, on the Robinson Report. This book, 20 Years a Slave and 22 Years a Slave and 40 Years a Freeman, is a story about his life as slave and free. He, born in Virginia, moved with his master to New York, and by the time he comes of age in New York in 1827, slavery is made illegal in New York, and he thus gains his freedom from his master. He thus continues on to become a shopkeeper, to do lots of different odd jobs, and eventually help set up a black colony in Canada for runaway slaves on the Underground Railroad. But he was also bedeviled by sickness and disease in his family, theft, fraud, every little bad thing and good thing that can happen. It's very interesting reading his book because I got a great feel for what 1830s, 40s, and 50s New York was like. This is the time of Joseph Smith for you Mormon LDS followers. This is the time Joseph Smith was in upper state New York. Also, you have Frederick Douglass, who's from Rochester, New York. So you get to a good feel of the political climate at the time. And I like to promote this book to people, not just for black people, but for whites and everyone's interested in history. 22 Years a Slave and 40 Years a Freeman. Check it out at your nearest bookstore. It's by Dover Publications. Go to their website, doverpublications.com.